Ladies and gentlemen, we all experience failures, disappointments, and unexpected obstacles. But the way we respond to these setbacks determines whether we remain in defeat or rise into victory. Today, I want to talk to you about overcoming setbacks, not with an ordinary mindset, but with a kingdom mindset. A kingdom mindset does not focus on limitations. It focuses on possibilities. It does not see defeat, it sees preparation. It does not dwell on failure, it sees lessons. When we align our thinking with the principles of the kingdom, no setback can permanently hinder us, because setbacks are simply setups for a greater comeback. A setback is not a sign of rejection. It is a test of faith. Many people allow disappointments to define their future, but a kingdom-minded person understands that challenges are necessary for growth. Just as gold is refined in fire, our character is strengthened in trials. When you experience loss, rejection, or failure, do not ask, "Why me?" Instead, ask, "What is God teaching me?" Every setback carries a lesson, and those who learn from their trials are the ones who rise to new levels of influence and success. Too often, people focus on their problems instead of their purpose. But let me tell you something powerful. Purpose is greater than any problem you will ever face. Problems are temporary, but purpose is eternal. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned. If he had focused on his setbacks, he would have remained in despair. But because he held on to his purpose, he rose from the prison to the palace. Your problems may seem overwhelming today, but if you focus on your purpose, no setback will be able to hold you back. One of the greatest mistakes we make in setbacks is allowing emotions to control our decisions. Feelings can be deceptive. Fear, doubt, and frustration will tell you that it is over. But the principles of the kingdom remind you that all things work together for your good. When you face failure, hold on to truth, not emotions. Principles such as faith, patience, and perseverance will anchor you when storms come. Emotional decisions lead to temporary relief, but principle-driven decisions lead to long-term success. If you want to overcome setbacks, you need 3 key things: faith, vision, and resilience. No great leader in history ever succeeded without setbacks. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is that successful people refuse to give up. A kingdom-minded person does not quit because they understand that their destiny is bigger than their difficulty. Every challenge you face is not meant to break you, but to transform you. Setbacks are God's way of preparing you for something greater. Without the wilderness, you cannot appreciate the promised land. Without the storm, you will never appreciate the calm. David fought lions and bears before he ever faced Goliath. What seemed like setbacks were actually his training ground for victory. When you go through trials, do not complain, embrace the process, because your transformation is happening in the fire. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life. No matter who we are or what we pursue, we will encounter challenges, failures, and disappointments. These moments of difficulty often feel overwhelming, but they are not meant to destroy us. Instead, they serve as tests, opportunities for growth, refinement, and transformation. How we respond to setbacks determines whether we remain stuck in defeat or rise to new levels of strength and wisdom. One of the greatest misconceptions people have about setbacks is that they are signs of failure or rejection. Many believe that when they face opposition, it means they are not meant to succeed. However, this is far from the truth. In reality, setbacks are often indicators that we are on the right path. If you examine the lives of great leaders, visionaries, and pioneers, you will find that almost every one of them faced obstacles before achieving their purpose. The presence of resistance does not mean you are failing. It means you are being prepared for something greater. Every setback carries a lesson. When we face hardships, we tend to ask, why is this happening to me? But the better question is, what is this teaching me? Challenges refine our character, build resilience, and help us develop the strength needed to handle greater responsibilities. A person who has never faced difficulty is often not equipped to sustain long-term success. This is why setbacks should not be viewed as roadblocks, but rather as stepping stones toward maturity, wisdom, and deeper understanding. Think about the refining process of gold. Raw gold, when first extracted, does not have the brilliance and purity that we admire. It must go through intense fire to remove impurities. The fire is not meant to destroy the gold. It is meant to purify it so that its true value can be revealed. In the same way, setbacks act as a refining process in our lives. When we go through hardship, we are given the opportunity to develop patience, perseverance, and inner strength. Without these qualities, success can be short-lived and unstable. One of the key aspects of overcoming setbacks is maintaining the right mindset. Many people allow disappointments to define them. They begin to believe that because they failed once, they are destined to fail forever. This type of thinking is dangerous because it leads to stagnation and hopelessness. A kingdom mindset, however, sees setbacks as temporary. It understands that no situation is permanent and that every trial has an expiration date. When you face challenges, remind yourself that this is only a season and seasons always change. Setbacks also reveal who we truly are. When everything is going well, it is easy to be positive, kind, and patient. But when challenges arise, our true character is tested. Do we remain faithful in difficulty? Do we continue to trust the process even when we cannot see the outcome? Do we keep our integrity when things do not go as planned? These are the questions that define our growth. A person with a kingdom mindset does not allow hardships to make them bitter. Instead, they use those hardships to become better. In addition, setbacks often redirect us toward our true purpose. Many times we make plans for our lives without fully understanding where we are meant to be. When obstacles arise, they force us to stop, reflect, and sometimes change direction. What may seem like a failure is often a divine redirection to something greater. Some of the most successful people in history found their true calling not through success, but through failure. They were forced to reconsider their paths, leading them to opportunities they never would have discovered otherwise. Setbacks also teach us dependence on God. When everything is smooth and easy, it is easy to rely on our own abilities. But when we face difficulties beyond our control, we realize our need for divine wisdom, strength, and guidance. This is why some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come during the most difficult seasons. Hardships push us closer to our Creator, reminding us that our strength does not come from ourselves, but from the One who designed our purpose. Setbacks prepare us to help others. When we have gone through difficulties and emerged stronger, we become a source of encouragement and wisdom for those who are struggling. A person who has never faced challenges cannot truly understand the pain of others. But those who have overcome hardships can inspire, uplift, and mentor those who are going through similar experiences. This is how setbacks turn into testimonies. Our struggles become a source of hope for others. It is also important to recognize that setbacks are temporary. No matter how painful or difficult a situation may be, it will not last forever. History has shown time and time again that people who persist through adversity eventually emerge victorious. The key is to keep moving forward, even when the road seems uncertain. A kingdom-minded person does not dwell on the past, but looks ahead with faith and determination. Setbacks are not meant to destroy us. They are meant to strengthen us. They are tests of character, refining processes, redirections, and opportunities for growth. When we shift our perspective and see challenges through the lens of purpose, we no longer fear setbacks. Instead, we embrace them as necessary steps in our journey toward greatness. The way we think determines the way we live. Every action, decision, and response to life's challenges is rooted in our mindset. A kingdom mindset is a perspective that is not bound by earthly limitations, but is aligned with divine principles. It is a way of, it sees beyond present struggles and focuses on God's ultimate plan. When we develop a kingdom mindset, we do not allow setbacks to define us. Instead, we use them as stepping stones for growth and transformation. A person with a kingdom mindset understands that their circumstances do not dictate their destiny. Many people allow their current struggles to shape their beliefs about what is possible. They say, "I will never recover from this loss," or "this failure means I am not meant to succeed." This kind of thinking keeps people trapped in fear, self-doubt, and mediocrity. A kingdom-minded individual sees every challenge as an opportunity for development. They do not focus on what is going wrong. They focus on what can be learned and how they can grow through the experience. A major difference between a kingdom mindset and a worldly mindset is how setbacks are perceived. A worldly mindset sees problems as obstacles that prevent success, while a kingdom mindset sees them as necessary parts of the process. No great accomplishment has ever been achieved without resistance. The challenges we face are not meant to stop us. They are meant to strengthen us. Just like a seed must be buried in the soil before it can grow, sometimes we must go through seasons of difficulty before we see the fruit of our labor. When we adopt a kingdom mindset, we shift from a position of fear to a position of faith. Fear tells us that failure is final, that we are not good enough, and that we should give up. Faith tells us that every setback is temporary, that we are being prepared for something greater, and that nothing is impossible when we trust in God's plan. This shift in thinking is powerful because it removes the limits that fear places on us. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we begin to focus on the unlimited potential that lies within us. Another key aspect of a kingdom mindset is the ability to see beyond the present situation. Many times, setbacks cause people to become discouraged because they focus only on what is happening in the moment. But those who have a kingdom perspective understand that the present moment is only a small part of the bigger picture. Just as an artist does not judge a painting before it is complete, we should not judge our lives based on temporary difficulties. We must trust that every challenge is part of a greater masterpiece being created. A kingdom mindset also changes the way we handle rejection. Many people fear rejection because they equate it with failure. They believe that if an opportunity does not work out, it means they were not good enough. However, a kingdom-minded person sees rejection as redirection. They understand that not every opportunity is meant for them, and that sometimes a closed door is a divine way of guiding them towards something better. Instead of being discouraged by rejection, they remain confident that their steps are being ordered by a higher purpose. One of the greatest advantages of a kingdom mindset is the ability to remain unshaken in the face of adversity. In life, difficulties are inevitable, but how we respond to them makes all the difference. People with a limited mindset are easily discouraged when things do not go their way. They complain, give up, or allow bitterness to take root. But those with a kingdom mindset remain steadfast, knowing that trials are temporary and that perseverance leads to breakthrough. They are like a tree planted by the rivers of water, strong, unmovable, and deeply rooted in faith. Another powerful aspect of a kingdom mindset is the refusal to accept mediocrity. Many people settle for less than they are capable of because they believe their circumstances limit them. They say, "I was born into poverty, so I will never succeed," or "I failed in the past, so I should not try again." But a kingdom-minded person does not accept these limitations. They believe that they were created for a purpose and that nothing, no background, no failure, no setback can stop them from fulfilling it. They understand that they are not defined by where they come from, but by where they are going. A kingdom mindset also leads to gratitude and contentment, even in difficult seasons. Instead of constantly complaining about what is wrong, kingdom-minded individuals find reasons to be grateful. They understand that every experience, whether good or bad, is shaping them for their future. Gratitude shifts the focus from problems to possibilities, from lack to abundance, and from despair to hope. A person who is thankful in every circumstance remains joyful, even when facing trials, because they understand that their joy is not based on external conditions, but on a deeper truth. The power of a kingdom mindset is that it transforms how we experience life. It turns obstacles into opportunities, rejection into redirection, and fear into faith. It allows us to walk with confidence, knowing that no setback is greater than the purpose we were created for. When we adopt this mindset, we no longer see challenges as barriers, but as necessary steps in our journey toward greatness. Instead of being controlled by circumstances, we take control of our perspective and choose to see life through the lens of victory, growth, and divine purpose. Life is filled with challenges, but the key to overcoming them lies in understanding that problems are temporary, while purpose is eternal. Too often, people become so consumed by their difficulties that they lose sight of their greater purpose. They allow setbacks, disappointments, and failures to define their identity and dictate their future. However, a kingdom mindset teaches us that our purpose is greater than any problem we will ever face. When we focus on our purpose rather than our problems, we gain the strength to push through adversity and keep moving forward. One of the greatest mistakes people make is magnifying their problems instead of magnifying their purpose. When difficulties arise, it is natural to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or even afraid. But when we focus too much on what is wrong, we begin to lose sight of what is right. We start to believe that our obstacles are too big, our resources are too small, and our abilities are too weak. However, the truth is that no problem is bigger than the purpose for which we were created. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger for the journey ahead. A person with a kingdom mindset understands that problems are not meant to stop them, but to shape them. Every great leader, every successful individual, and every world changer has faced opposition. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is their perspective. Those who succeed do not allow difficulties to deter them. Instead, they see every problem as a stepping stone toward their purpose. They do not waste time complaining about obstacles. They focus on how to overcome them. They understand that struggles are not signs of failure, but signs of preparation for something greater. When we look at history, we see that some of the greatest breakthroughs have come through difficult circumstances. Joseph, for example, was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and later imprisoned for a crime he did not commit. If he had focused only on his problems, he would have remained in despair. But because he remained focused on his purpose, he eventually rose to a position of power where he could save nations from famine. His setbacks were not the end of his story. They were part of the process that prepared him for his destiny. We should ask, how is this preparing me for my purpose? Another powerful truth about purpose is that it brings clarity. Many people feel lost or confused in life because they do not know their purpose. As a result, when they face difficulties, they have nothing to anchor them. But when a person is clear about their purpose, they are not easily discouraged by obstacles. They know where they are going, and they understand that every challenge is simply part of the journey. When we stay focused on our purpose, we develop resilience, determination, and the ability to rise above temporary difficulties. A person who prioritizes purpose over problems also understands that difficulties are opportunities for growth. Every problem we face strengthens us in ways we may not immediately see. A tree that is never exposed to wind will develop weak roots, making it easy to fall when storms come. But a tree that has faced strong winds develops deep roots, making it unshakable. In the same way, our problems develop the strength wisdom, and endurance we need to fulfill our purpose. What seems like a setback is often a setup for something greater. It is also important to understand that our purpose is not just for ourselves. Many times, the struggles we go through prepare us to help others. A person who has overcome financial hardship can teach others how to manage their resources. Someone who has faced rejection can encourage others to persevere. Our experiences, both good and bad, are part of a bigger plan that impacts not just our lives, but the lives of those around us. When we focus on purpose, we begin to see our problems not as burdens, but as tools that equip us to serve and inspire others. When we choose purpose over problems, we develop an unstoppable mindset. We no longer allow difficulties to dictate our decisions or limit our potential. Instead, we see every challenge as part of our journey, every setback as an opportunity for growth, and every hardship as a preparation for something greater. We understand that no problem is greater than the purpose we were created for. And with this perspective, we can overcome any obstacle that comes our way. Faith is the foundation upon which we stand when facing trials. It is the unshakable confidence that even in the darkest moments, there is a higher purpose at work. When difficulties arise, many people allow fear, doubt, and discouragement to take control. They begin to question their abilities, their future, and even the presence of God in their lives. However, a kingdom mindset operates differently. It does not deny the existence of trials, but refuses to be defined or defeated by them. Instead, faith allows us to see beyond our current struggles and trust that there is a divine plan unfolding. One of the greatest tests of faith comes when we encounter unexpected setbacks. These are the moments when life does not go as planned, when doors close, opportunities are lost, and hardships seem overwhelming. It is easy to have faith when everything is going well, but true faith is revealed when we continue to trust in the midst of trials. The greatest leaders, visionaries, and world changers all faced adversity. Yet they did not allow their circumstances to dictate their belief in the future. They stood firm, believing that their trials were temporary, but their destiny was eternal. Faith in the midst of trials requires a shift in perspective. Many people view hardships as signs that they are on the wrong path. They assume that if they were truly meant to succeed, everything would happen easily. However, this is not the case. Resistance and opposition often come when we are on the right path. The moment we step into our purpose, challenges arise to test our commitment. This is why faith is essential. It allows us to keep moving forward, even when everything around us says to quit. One of the greatest lessons faith teaches us is that our circumstances do not define our destiny. Just because we are experiencing difficulty now does not mean we will always be in this situation. Life operates in seasons, and no season lasts forever. Winter may bring cold and barrenness, but spring always follows with new life. In the same way, trials may bring hardship and uncertainty, but breakthrough always follows for those who remain steadfast in faith. The key is to keep going, trusting that this season of difficulty is preparing us for something greater. Faith also changes the way we respond to fear. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles that prevent people from moving forward. It whispers lies saying, "You are not strong enough. You will never recover. or this problem is too big for you. Many people allow fear to dictate their actions, causing them to retreat, settle for less, or abandon their purpose altogether. But faith operates in direct opposition to fear. Where fear sees failure, faith sees opportunity. Where fear says it is impossible, faith declares, with God, all things are possible. This is why faith is a powerful force. It gives us the courage to take bold steps even when the outcome is uncertain. Trials also have a way of exposing what we truly believe. When things are easy, it is simple to say, I trust in God's plan. But when we are faced with uncertainty, loss, or rejection, our true level of faith is revealed. Do we still believe in our purpose when doors close? Do we still trust that everything is working for our good when we face setbacks? Do we remain steadfast when progress is slow? These are the moments that shape us. A kingdom-minded person does not let trials weaken their faith, but allows faith to strengthen them in trials. Faith also teaches us patience. Many people give up too soon because they expect instant results. They want success, breakthrough, and restoration to happen overnight. But true growth takes time. Just as a seed must remain in the soil before it can sprout, we must endure seasons of waiting before we see the full manifestation of our purpose. Faith is what sustains us during these waiting periods. It reminds us that delays are not denials, that setbacks are not final, and that everything is happening in the right time. Another powerful aspect of faith is that it gives us peace in the midst of chaos. When we trust that there is a greater plan, we no longer have to live in anxiety or fear. Many people become overwhelmed by trials because they try to control everything. They worry about the future, stress over things beyond their control, and exhaust themselves trying to fix every problem. But faith releases that burden. It allows us to rest, knowing that we do not have to figure everything out on our own. We can trust that the same power that created us is guiding us, even when we cannot see the full picture. Faith in trials also strengthens our resilience. Every time we face difficulty and choose to trust instead of panic, our faith grows stronger. Just as muscles develop through resistance, faith is built through endurance. The more we rely on faith during trials, the more unshakable we become. This is why some of the most powerful people in history have endured great hardship. They allowed their trials to refine them instead of breaking them. They emerged stronger, wiser, and more equipped to fulfill their destiny. Faith in trials allows us to become a source of inspiration for others. People are always watching how we respond to challenges. When they see us standing firm in faith despite difficulties, it encourages them to do the same. Our journey becomes a testimony that strengthens others. We do not go through trials just for ourselves. Sometimes our faith in hardship becomes the light that guides someone else through their own struggles. Faith in the midst of trials is not about ignoring reality, but about choosing to believe in a greater truth. It is about standing firm even when everything around us is shaking. It is about trusting that no matter how difficult the present moment may seem, there is a purpose beyond the pain. Those who hold on to faith during trials do not just survive, they emerge victorious, transformed, and ready to step into the fullness of their destiny. Perseverance is one of the most powerful forces in achieving success and overcoming setbacks. It is the ability to keep going despite difficulties, opposition, or failure. Many people fail to reach their full potential, not because they lack talent or opportunities, but because they give up too soon. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is often perseverance. A kingdom mindset understands that setbacks are not meant to stop us, but to strengthen us. When we choose to persevere, we develop resilience, character, and the endurance necessary to fulfill our purpose. One of the greatest lessons perseverance teaches us is that failure is not final. Many people believe that when they experience failure, it is a sign that they should stop trying. They see failure as an indicator that they are not good enough or that their dreams are impossible. However, failure is often a necessary step on the journey to success. Some of the most accomplished individuals in history faced repeated failures before they achieved greatness. What set them apart was their refusal to quit. Instead of viewing failure as an end, they saw it as a lesson, an opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow. Perseverance also requires a strong commitment to purpose. People who lack a clear vision for their lives are more likely to give up when faced with difficulties. Without a strong sense of purpose, obstacles seem overwhelming and discouragement sets in quickly. However, when we know why we are doing something, we are more likely to push through the hard times. A person with a kingdom mindset understands that their calling is greater than their temporary struggles. They recognize that setbacks are not indicators of defeat, but moments of refinement that prepare them for the next level. Another important aspect of perseverance is the ability to maintain the right attitude during difficult times. Many people allow frustration, bitterness, and negativity to take root when things do not go as planned. They complain about their struggles, blame others, or become filled with self-pity. However, this mindset only weakens their ability to move forward. Perseverance requires maintaining a positive outlook even when circumstances are challenging. It is about choosing hope over despair, faith over fear, and determination over discouragement. A person who perseveres does not waste time dwelling on what went wrong. Instead, they focus on finding solutions and moving forward. One of the greatest examples of perseverance is found in nature. Consider the process of a seed growing into a tree. When a seed is planted, it does not immediately sprout into a strong, towering tree. It must first go through a hidden period of growth beneath the soil. During this time, it develops roots which provide the strength and stability it will need in the future. If the seed were to be removed from the soil too soon, it would never reach its full potential. In the same way, we must endure seasons of growth and struggle before we can fully step into our destiny. Perseverance is what allows us to remain firm during these seasons, trusting that the process is necessary for our development. Perseverance is also closely connected to discipline. Many people expect success to come quickly and easily, but true success requires consistent effort over time. It is not about making one big move. It is about making small, consistent steps every day. Just like an athlete trains daily to build strength and skill, we must train ourselves in perseverance. This means continuing to work even when we do not see immediate results, staying committed even when we feel tired, and pushing forward even when we feel like giving up. A major challenge to perseverance is the temptation to compare our progress with others. In today's world, it is easy to look at other people's success and feel discouraged about our own journey. We see people achieving their goals, advancing in their careers, or living the life we desire, and we wonder why things are not happening as quickly for us. However, comparison is one of the biggest obstacles to perseverance. It shifts our focus from our own path to someone else's, making us feel inadequate or impatient. A kingdom mindset reminds us that our journey is unique. Just because someone else is succeeding now does not mean we are failing. Everyone has their own timeline, and as long as we remain faithful to victory in life is not determined by external circumstances, but by the way we think. A transformed mindset is the key to overcoming setbacks and stepping into our purpose. Many people remain trapped in cycles of failure, fear, and discouragement because they have not renewed their thinking. They allow their past, their limitations, and their struggles to shape their perspective. However, a kingdom mindset understands that true victory begins in the mind. When we shift our thinking from a place of defeat to a place of faith, resilience, and purpose, we position ourselves to overcome any obstacle. The way we think affects the way we respond to challenges. People who have a mindset of defeat often see problems as barriers, while those with a transformed mindset see them as opportunities. A person with a renewed perspective does not allow setbacks to define them. Instead, they use setbacks as stepping stones for growth. They understand that failure is not a permanent condition, but a temporary experience that can lead to wisdom and strength. This shift in thinking makes all the difference. Two people can face the same difficulty, yet one will rise while the other will remain stuck. The difference is in how they think. A transformed mindset also requires rejecting limiting beliefs. Many people fail to achieve victory because they have accepted false ideas about themselves and their potential. They believe they are not smart enough, talented enough, or strong enough to succeed. These beliefs are often shaped by negative experiences, past failures, or the opinions of others. However, a kingdom-minded person does not allow external voices to define their destiny. They choose to replace doubt with faith, fear with courage, and insecurity with confidence. They understand that their worth and potential are not determined by their past, but by their purpose. Another important aspect of a transformed mindset is learning to speak words of life. The way we speak reflects the way we think, and our words have the power to shape our reality. Many people sabotage their own success by constantly speaking words of defeat. They say things like, "I will never make it," "things will never change," or "I'm not good enough." These words reinforce negative thinking and create a mindset of failure. But a kingdom mindset chooses to speak words of faith and victory. Instead of saying, "I can't," they say, "I can do all things through the strength given to me." Instead of saying, "This situation is hopeless," they declare, "There is a solution for every challenge I face." By changing their words, they reinforce a mindset of victory. A transformed mindset also helps us to focus on possibilities rather than problems. Many people get stuck in life because they only see obstacles. They constantly think about what is wrong, what is missing, and what is holding them back. This type of thinking creates frustration, discouragement, and inaction. But those with a renewed mindset focus on solutions, opportunities, and strategies. They refuse to dwell on what they cannot change and instead focus on what they can control. This mindset allows them to move forward even when circumstances are difficult. Instead of saying, "I have no opportunities," they say, "How can I create opportunities?" Instead of saying, "This is impossible," they ask, "What steps can I take to make this happen?" This way of thinking is what leads to breakthroughs and progress. Another key to victory through a transformed mindset is the ability to let go of the past. Many people struggle to move forward because they are still holding on to past mistakes, past pain, and past disappointments. They allow what happened yesterday to define their today and limit their tomorrow. However, a kingdom mindset understands that the past does not have to dictate the future. It chooses to release bitterness, regret, and self-condemnation. It embraces the truth that every day is a new opportunity to grow, to change, and to move forward. Holding on to the past only keeps us trapped. But when we shift our mindset, we free ourselves to step into new possibilities. A transformed mindset also helps us develop resilience. Life will always have challenges, but those who think with a kingdom perspective refuse to be easily shaken. They understand that difficulties are a normal part of growth and success. Instead of being discouraged by problems, they use them as opportunities to become stronger. They develop the ability to bounce back quickly from failure, to keep moving forward even after disappointment, and to remain hopeful even when circumstances seem unfavorable. This resilience is what sets apart those who achieve victory from those who give up too soon. One of the most powerful aspects of a renewed mindset is the ability to see oneself as victorious even before success manifests. Many people wait until they see results before they believe in their success. However, a kingdom-minded person believes in victory before they see it. They do not base their confidence on their current situation, but on their unshakable belief that success is already within them. They visualize their goals, speak their future into existence, and act as if they have already achieved what they desire. This faith-driven thinking propels them into action and attracts opportunities that align with their vision. A renewed mindset also shifts our focus from self-doubt to self-discipline. Many people fail to reach their goals not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. They start with excitement, but quickly lose motivation when results do not come immediately. However, those with a transformed mindset understand that success requires endurance. They train their minds to stay committed even when progress is slow. They build habits of discipline, persistence, and patience, knowing that small daily actions lead to long-term success. Instead of being controlled by emotions, they are led by purpose. Victory through a transformed mindset is about taking control of our thoughts. It is about refusing to be a victim of circumstances and choosing to be a victor instead. It is about renewing our thinking daily, rejecting fear and negativity, and embracing faith, hope, and determination. Those who cultivate this mindset become unstoppable. No setback can hold them down. No failure can break them, and no challenge can defeat them. They rise above every obstacle, not because life is easy, but because their mindset is unshakable. They do not just survive setbacks, they use them as stepping stones to reach even greater heights.